This is quite shocking to me. Pat Buchanan, of course, the old, notorious, clueless racist, he actually wrote an article about foreign policy on WorldNet Daily that made quite a bit of sense, if I don't say so myself. Listen to some of this. He said, quote, "Neo-isolationism is the direct product of foolish globalism. Compared to people who thought they could run the universe or at least the globe, I am neo-isolationist and proud of it." Those are not the words of an old American firster, but the declaration of that icon of the liberal establishment, Walter Lippmann, in 1967. Today, neo-isolationism, bred of that foolish globalism of which Lippmann wrote, has made a comeback. For the first time since polling began in 1964, it is the dominant sentiment of the nation. According to a new Pew poll, 52% of Americans believe, quote, "The U.S. should mind its own business internationally and let other countries get along the best they can on their own." Only 38% disagree. Asked if the Congress of the United States should think less in, quote, international terms, but concentrate more on our national problems, Americans agree by an 80% to 16% margin. He continues, "How can a nation as polarized morally and paralyzed politically as ours lead the world? It cannot. The people sense what the elites cannot see. The American century is over. It's time to restore the republic." Now you have to understand something. When it comes to domestic policy, Pat Buchanan and I agree on almost nothing. There's one issue where he's actually right and he makes a lot of sense. He's against outsourcing all American jobs. He's against this bullshit free trade garbage where we ship all our jobs to Bangladesh and nobody is making money working in the factory. So he's right about that. But outside of that, there's very little I agree with him on domestically. But yet, credit where credit is due, man. He's right in this article. He's making a great point, and he's citing polls that are correct, which are saying the American people want to... We've had it. We've had it with Afghanistan. We've had it with Iraq. The $7 trillion war in Iraq by the year 2053, when you calculate all the interest and all is said and done, our 900 military bases around the world. If you actually care about being fiscally conservative, you wouldn't want to spend all this money on the warfare state, on imperialism. Why? Why do we still have bases in fucking Germany? I think Hitler's gone. You're telling me we can't make do with 497 bases? I mean, we have 900. We can't make do with 279, 276? I believe we do fine with fucking 20. But no, we're still spreading all over the place, and we're still doing a foreign policy that the American people are not in favor of. And by the way, Pat, I can explain to you why that is. It's the military-industrial complex. It's not nearly as conspiratorial as it sounds. It's just a basic truism that you have lobbyists, okay, who work for the private contractors, the defense corporations, and they give money to the Democrats and the Republicans and all the politicians, and then when the politicians go to vote on bills, they vote to give these guys more contracts to make more F-22s and make more tanks and make more fighters and make more guns and all that stuff, and then we can't just have it sitting around in the desert in the middle of Nevada, because then you can't keep making it, so you got to keep the ruse up for business's sake. So what do? I don't know, start a war with Iraq. I don't know, start beefing with Iran. I don't know, build another military base, this time in fucking Botswana. This is how it functions. And Pat Buchanan is right to say that this is bullshit. Now, the only slight distinction I would make away from what Pat Buchanan said is that I don't like referring to it as neo-isolationism, because isolationism has a strong negative connotation associated with it. It's been a word that's been demonized for so long that there's no coming back from the dead for that word. So I refer to it as what I think is the more accurate description, non-interventionism. Because when you say isolationism, it gives the misimpression that we don't want to do, you know, I don't know, like import goods from other nations at all, right? Or export our own goods at all. Like we don't want to do even any basic trade, not like outsourcing our jobs, but goods, insourcing and outsourcing goods, okay? And that's not the good impression you want to leave on people. So just call it what it is, non-interventionism. We'll still, like, you know, you send us sugar cane and we'll send you tobacco or whatever it is. But when it comes to warfare, yes, scale back with this totally fucked up experiment that we've done since the end of World War II, where we thought we'd fare better than the Spartans and the Greeks and the Romans and the different Chinese dynasties and the Malian Empire and the Turkish Empire, all throughout history, all these different places that ruled the world and thought they could do it militarily, they all failed. We're no different.